Yes, Spotlight is the show. This is where we make in-depth analysis of things happening around the world. Program that is dissect and make in-depth things, the conversations of top trending stories of the day. We relate with things ranging from politics, governance, health, education, business, and many more. Joining us today to make conversations on two issues, two trending issues, talking about Nigeria and its rotational presidency. Also, we look at the issue where the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has banned homosexuality. Are you aware that this has been happening in the military? We're conversant with this happening, or in outside the country, abroad, where we have, we see sometimes in movies where one of these militaries engage in homosexuality, lesbianism, and all of this. But yeah, we'll talk about it. Nigerians don't even know that these things exist, in their military setting. But the presidency has put a ban on homosexuality in Nigeria. First of all, let's take a look at Nigeria and its rotational presidency. Joining us live to look at this is an editor-in-chief for the industry newspaper and a public affairs analyst, Mr. Gordy Efose. Mr. Gordy, good morning.
Good morning, Michael. It's nice to be here. And Happy New Year to you. My first this year.
All right. Happy New Year to you. It's a compliment of the season. And also joining us also to make this conversation in-depth is a retired Assistant Director of Internal Security, SSS, and member of the American Society of Industrial Security International. Is Mr. Adams Habu. Good morning, Mr. Adams.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, let's go into the conversation. Nigeria rotational presidency is an informal political event aimed at promoting national unity by alternating the presidency between the northern and southern regions of the country. Are you aware also that so many issues, Nigeria as an important African nation with the potentials of population and material resources to play a major role in global politics? Well, the country is multi-ethnic, and its main features include the existence of three major ethnic groups, each territorially exclusive and larger in population than many countries of the world. Our languages vary with groups, and so also the religious attempts, based on democracy of the models of the British parliamentary system. And then we left that and switched to the U.S. presidential congressional system. We have met with failure, and the military have dominated most of the political processes. Well, Mr. Gordy Efose, take us through this issues of presidency, rotational presidency. We had a parliamentary system that we inherited from the British, and then we moved to the U.S. presidential congressional system, which has been said that the military have dominated most of the political process. Well, thank God we have a military, ex-military man here. Well, let's say maybe once a military, always a military. I don't know how you say that. But then let's go deeper into these conversations. Do you agree? How will you describe the system we're practicing now?
Well, Michael, it's quite unfortunate that in Nigeria, we seem to align and adopt what is not working in other climes. Democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And when you begin to introduce some add-ons and alien clauses to the democracy, unlike what other societies that we have borrowed this form of government from, then you begin to have issues. I have not been a lover or an advocate of rotational presidency, and I don't know why it was introduced. It doesn't work. It doesn't give people the opportunity to have their best leading them. It doesn't give us the opportunity to put our best foot forward. Therefore, it become a clannish government. It become a way where people begin to have my turn syndrome. It is my community turn syndrome. You have someone that is doing very well in office because it shouldn't be his turn after the tenure you ask him to leave and bring it in his feet. Whatever arrangement, whatever situation that led us to rotational presidency, I don't think it is a normal phenomenon. It should be a normal practice. I feel it should be abrogated. It should be discounted with because you see in the U.S., particularly where we borrow a kind of democracy from, they don't talk about it's my turn, it's your turn, it is the turn of the South, it is the turn of the West, it is the turn of the East, or it is the turn of the North. Therefore, I feel it is an entitlement mentality thing.
Do you think it's probably to address the ethnic and regional marginalization in Nigeria?
That is where I'm coming from. It shouldn't be. If we want to practice an ethnic government, we should specifically, expressly say so. This is a democracy. A democracy is we adopted this form of government to better our laws, to help us put the best people forward, believing that people have the capacity to choose who is the best to lead us. But we have come to a point where we have that. You see what happened in the previous government, where somebody like President, I'm not saying he's not qualified, he has been the military head of state, but somebody who is who has left power since 80s, sat at home, he has not been seen to have engaged in any venture, in any productive venture, as it were. He has not been seen as going around the world, exchanging ideas, having new ideas, propose, or is a proponent of new ideas in leadership. But because, he must come from this place, he's the person that can get votes, we bring the person, and the person he becomes whatever the president, and this is where the country is going to. But what I'm saying is that, yes, even if at that, we must, as a matter of fact, try as much as possible to practice democracy the way democracy should be practiced. Now, in the U.S., you find out that the George Bush father was the president. Just after 8 years, the son become the president again. So you can't have that in Nigeria. It will not even allow, even the community that the person comes from, it can never happen. Your father, you can see the kind of, what is it called, the kind of conversation that is going on with the
regional
conversation around Sheikh Tinubu and the father is the president, the son cannot be the governor. Who says that in a democracy? You cannot say that if the son qualifies and if the people want the son to be the governor, they have the right to make the son the governor. So, rotational presidency in the first place is the reason why Nigeria is backward in terms of development, in terms of advancement of its infrastructure, in terms of making the country compete with other countries. I mean, we are aware that the likes of Brazil, we were together, they were at the same level, if we were not ahead in the early 70s, with the likes of Brazil, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the rest of the countries, and the rest of other countries. But today, these countries have moved ahead of us, and all of them are not practicing rotational presidency. It is very clear that the rotational presidency is a clock in the wheel of our progress. Why can't we practice? Why do we always want to reinvent the wheel? Reinvent the wheel of something that has been created, right? So in the end, I am not a supporter of rotational presidency. I'm a supporter of a democracy that practice with the meritocracy
is rotational presidency not democracy? Does that in the...
That's what I'm saying. I am. That's what I'm telling you.
Is there a difference between rotational marginalization and democracy?
It's an arrangement that does not work. It is not part of what I have not seen any place that what is the government of rotational presidency called?
Okay,
what is that type of what is that type of governance?
When someone comes out to say,
what is it called?
When someone comes out to say Emilio Con, I mean, saying that for himself,
that is what I'm saying. It is rotational. It is my turn. It is my turn. My turn is rotational. It must come to me. Like why we are discussing this issue this morning is that the former aide of vice president said, "Oh, we must stay on the rotational presidency." What does that really mean? And I keep asking, what does that mean? Does that mean that if it is the rotational presidency and the region does not have a better person, and the country should fold their hand and watch the region produce whatever it is when we are going to all be suffered for it? So, for me, if we practice a democracy, government of the people, for the people, by the people, with the little ingredients of meritocracy in mind, where we are discerning enough to choose or to know who has done what, because it just must be based on antecedent. It must be based at the pedigree of the candidate that is coming out. It must be based at that person, what he has done in the past and what he's currently doing. How can he better our lot? Not about somebody who has been sleeping for ages, and because it's their turn, you have to go and wake him up and bring him to come and contest, and he will end up making things more difficult for all of us. So at the end of the day, I do not support rotational presidency, and it should be discarded with.
All right, let's hear from a retired assistant director. I mean, Adams Abu. I mean, what's your take on all of this marginalization? Do you think that it's Nigeria's political stability or probably national unity?
Thank you very much. I think I want to start from democracy itself, the kind of democracy that we practice in this country. You can see, whether we like it or not, that the democracy that we are practicing, the type we are practicing, the presidential system we are practicing, has greatly not served the interests of the common man in this country.
Meaning you're supporting the parliamentary system?
And certainly, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Why did I say that? Countries that practice democracy, the presidential that serves them, they are countries that have developed into nationhood, whereby you don't think about rotational, but you think about who is capable of serving the people at a particular time. But in this country, because we have not developed to a single nation or single nationhood, we are still concerned about the various nationalities that make up Nigeria, and therefore they must be represented in the leadership of the country to, according to them, to give peace its chance. Whether or not we have that peace today, your guess is as good as mine in our country, considering the level of insecurity in our country. But let me say that that arrangement was what was necessary for them to make sure that every segment of the country participates in the governance. So until we develop into nationhood, a complete single nation, that nobody sees himself, when you are filling form for employment, they will not ask you which state you are from, which local government you are from, what is your religion. As long as we have not grown beyond that level, certainly this is what you are going to expect. However, look at the damage, the kind of system that we practice. The present administration had worked hard to give local government autonomy, and this is what we are about to take place. But look at what happened in a particular state. Its local government chairman one day appointed 130 aides.
Aides, yeah.
Just because of the autonomy. What does he want to do with 130 aides? You can see the reason why the best form of government for us is parliamentary. Look at the National Assembly. Well, how many bills did they deliberate in a month? How many of them have successfully initiated a bill that has been passed? Most of the bills that are passed there are sent by the executive. So why don't they come from their homes, come and deliberate it 1 week, take your sitting allowance and go back, and let us have resources to develop our country? But as it is now, the ball is in their court. They will never allow it. Look at how long it has taken the governors to accept state police. And look at how long the governors had even taken over the running of local governments in this country, all in the name of democracy and presidential system of government. It is not working for us. But like I said, as it is today, what our kind of government is the appropriation of resources by the political leaders, and that is why they cannot afford not to be rotating. We have seen that if you take a particular state now, if you go to some government houses, the number of people that you find in the government house are people from the geopolitical area of the governor, of the sitting governor. That is the level that we are. We have not developed beyond our local communities, and that is why we are not benefiting from it. So it's difficult for you to say let the best go, and that is why independent candidate. I don't know whether it has been approved. It's not even approved, because even if it is approved and you come from where it's not your turn, you are just wasting your money. Nobody will elect you. Even before the election, you'll be so intimidated that you will even pull out of the race. So I think the best thing, if we can develop, because even this system of government is what is encouraging corruption that has refused to go. And so can we develop to a level that will look beyond where we come from?
Are you not looking at Mr. Adam? Are you not looking at the ethnic angle, addressing all of this ethnicity? We have issues, problems of ethnicity in Nigeria.
That is what I am saying. That is exactly what I am saying. Ethnicity is ruling because we have not developed as into a single nationhood. Every segment. For instance, let's look at the North, for instance. Even in the North, there are so many nationalities in the North. These days, in those days, you used to think about the North. These days, there are other nationalities that are saying we are not the North. We are middle belters. We are this. We are that. The same thing you find even in the Southeast. The same thing you find in the South. The same thing you find in this. I think the most how do I say, unified section of this country, that they really don't have other nationalities within them to agitate for an identity. Yes, because in the Southwest, everybody sees himself as a Yoruba man, whether you are from Ijebu, you are from, and that kind of. So as long as this sentiment of tribe, of ethnicity continue, and the idea to protect their interests in the national political scene, there is no way you throw away this.
To be part of this conversation. The phone lines 0705 890 4927 0705 0805 092 0927 0805 092 0927. Don't forget you can send us message via WhatsApp. Send us message via WhatsApp on 0705 690 0927. 0705 0927. I take the number again, 0705 890 4927. We're still looking at Nigeria and its rotational presidency. And on the second part of the show, I will look at homosexuality in the military, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has banned homosexuality in the military. But first, let's look at now. We're talking about Nigeria and its rotational president. And so we'll still have here the editor-in-chief, the industry newspaper, and a public affairs analyst, Gadi Fosa. I was also have here retired assistant director of Internal Security, SSS, and also a member of the American Society of Industrial Security International, Adams Habu. I mean, this is a very critical thing we need to look at, talking about rotational presidency. I'm coming to you now, Mr. Gadi. How does this rotational presidency influence the selection process of presidential candidates within major political parties? Can you hear me?
Well, you see, yes, I'm here. I've heard you.
Because if you're a member of, let me say, PDP, member of APC, member of Labour Party, member of XDP, this rotational policy, do you think it's affecting, all of them? We could, just like you've said, we could have a better candidate in X party. But because we're having this rotational policy, we're having this rotational team, there's...
Hello, this virus caused rotational presidency has eaten deep, Michael, into our fabric to the point that even at the level of councillors, please, you have to go back. It's not just presidency. From to the level of councillors in some states, you can't do more than a term. You can't do more than a term. And if it is not your turn, there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. That is how bad it has become. He has pushed aside meritocracy. I mean, that's what we're supposed to be. Whether it is because we are talking about democracy, why is it presidential or parliamentary or whatever? It is a democracy that we are talking about, because even parliamentary system of government is a democracy as in itself. If we continue to do a rotational, we have presidents, we have governors who keep preaching unity, who keep preaching oneness, who keep preaching togetherness, one nation, and in the other leg, they are practicing a different thing. You can't bring in ethics into democracy. You can't preach and practice ethnicity, tribe in a democracy, and in the same vein call for nationhood. It is not possible. It is not possible. Any person, any leader who is elected to lead this country must seen as a Nigerian first. But in our kind of democracy, we see in Nigeria, we see a president as either Yoruba or Hausa or Igbo or any other tribe. That's what we are seeing. Yesterday, somebody shared something with me. Oh, Tinubu presidency listed all the agencies of government, listed everything, and bring out the names of the Yorubas that are there. Almost about 78 key agencies led by Yorubas. Whether Mr. President is doing that unintentionally, it is there to be seen that it is a presidency for the Yorubas. That's what I'm talking about. But when we have a president who is a Nigerian first and foremost, Nigeria would push themselves with all of those kind of sentiments that we are seeing. All right? The Emilokon, it is my turn.
Let me come in there.
My right.
Let me come in there. Don't you forget that there are other tribes too in other positions. The NSA is not Yoruba.
Well, listen, Michael, I'm telling you this. I'm giving you what someone shared yesterday. Key agencies, key positions. All right? Whatever you are going to share, whatever you are going to give to other tribes and other ethnicity is not going to be as much as what I have seen, of what I've read. Yes, there are others. But what I'm telling you is that if the presidency, if the person if we elect a Nigerian, if we begin to do a Nigerian president, not an ethnic president, Nigeria will not dovetail that low, will not stoop so low to begin to look at who has been appointed to these places. That's what I'm telling you. That is my point. My point, Nigerians are looking at those places because we are seeing a president first as from some ethnic nationality before becoming a Nigerian. That's where we are looking at. But what I'm saying in the essence is that at the end of the day, we can all change this. Nigerians can all change this. Maybe the next cycle of elections, people should be able to say that. People should be able to talk less on where it should go to, on who should deliver the goods. And when we begin to say that, the politician will begin to align with us. The politician will begin to align with us. In 2014, in 2015 election, it was more of it should go to the north. It was a north turn. It wasn't about who can deliver the goods.
All right.
It was about even if they brought anybody from the north, even if they brought anybody from the north who is not qualified, we will vote for the north. Not somebody from the south who is not qualified to do the job.
Anyway, because of our time,
we as Nigerians, we should begin first and foremost. We should begin to talk less, all right, on these things, because if you leave it for politicians alone, they will continue to push this narrative to us. So Nigerians, the Nigerian people, should begin to talk less on this rotational presidency and talk more on the quality of the candidate that should be presented for the election.
Do you think do you think Nigerians are not talking? Have you forgotten the words of Dino Melaye? If you talk, if you don't talk, you remember. But anyway, moving.
Listen. The same Dino Melaye that said that contested Kogi State election and said their own people has never produced a governor. So how do you listen, Michael? How do you now juxtapose this? You are saying a different thing at the national level. You come to your state, you are preaching a different thing. That's the kind of talking I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the talking of the politician at the national and the local elections. If Mr. Milaye want to contest election in Kogi State, he should say, I am best qualified despite where I come from. That I am a Kogite and I want to stand for this election, and I know that I can't deliver the goods more than my competitor. So he shouldn't say that, at the national, we shouldn't do rotational. At the state, my people have never produced governor. No, that's balderdash. That's nonsense. So if we want to speak, we should not double speak. We should speak as one people, condemn whatever that is happening at the very lowest rung of the democracy in Nigeria, the councillors. Let us begin to condemn that alone. If you have a councillor is like a lawmaker at the lowest level, at the local government level. Those are the people that make the small laws for the local government, for the community.
All right,
if the person is good, and continuously push that bandit, keep him there. Why do we have somebody in the US at the Senate, at the Congress, stay there for as long as 25 years? Why are we doing that? Because that person is delivering it. Yeah, I can assure you, if the Senate President who comes from Akwa Ibom State and Ikot Senatorial District is doing so well, I can assure you, as long as he is not returned, he will not return. Those are the things that we are talking about.
Okay.
So how
about the National Assembly? How about the National Assembly that presenting a bill constitutionally, the 6-year single tenure? Is that a solution to it?
You know, our National Assembly has never been pro-people. I'm sorry to say, they have never been pro-people. In your remark early on, you said, the gentleman on the other side said that most of the laws that they have passed come from executive. That means they are doing nothing. They are absolutely doing nothing. So if the bill that does not come from the executive arm of government, particularly from the presidency, they will not give an express attention to. So you can see that anything that comes from the people, they will push it aside. Is it not how did we set a new record of passing a law in just about a week, a national anthem law?
It's just about a week. How do we extend that record? Because it didn't come from the people. It came from the goose that laid the golden egg. So at the end of the day, you know that leaving this for the National Assembly is not going to work.
All right, thank you very much for this. We have a caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, I'm calling from Coca. My name is John.
All right, John from Coca, please make your remark.
I can't hear the caller.
I can't hear him too.
You are not hearing me?
Go ahead, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Huh.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make it brief. You see, in Nigeria here, even the Yorubas are agitating for the foundation. The Igbos who started agitating for Biafra a long time ago, they have a reason. Why the presidency and the parliamentary system was still enforced in Nigeria. Igbo man was the president, and Hausa man was a prime minister. This was never as difficult as it is today in Nigeria. And today we have presidential system of government. When you vote, your vote will not count. It is not here. I know that some people went home with wounds on their body because they voted for a particular candidate. That is
How do you know that? How do you know that?
I mean, Lagos here. It was on television. It was the news. Some people were injured. Some people were beaten to hell in Lagos here, especially in our Agor area of Lagos here. People were beaten up because they voted for somebody else. The somebody that the people, the original, those who claim to be original owners of Lagos State does not want. How do you want democracy to progress in this way and manner? Is that how to manage a nation? Let those who are ruling us, let us lead by example. Now that somebody is here as president from a particular region in this nation, let him stand out and choose people. When you go to the east, you have experts. You come to the south here, in the west here, you have experts. You go to the south, the same. Why must he be from a particular region? Where you have up to 50, 60 people occupying different important positions in the country. Others are watching. Others, you make them secretary. Others, you make them statesmen. Others, I mean, how can democracy survive like that? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your comments, Derek. I mean, quickly, in all of this, we need to go to other conversations. But Mr. Adams, in 1 minute, I mean, let's wrap up this conversation about rotational presidency. I mean, you heard about the bill. National Assembly. National Assembly had passed the bill for a 6-year rotational presidency, but then it was toned down. But then it was said that they were going to bring the bill back again, probably after looking at it closely. I mean, some rejected it that no, it's not allowed. Come do your 4 years, and probably if people like you, you're voted in again a second term and all. So how do you address this rotational, the 6-year rotational presidency?
Thank you very much. Let me. You know that I'm not a politician. I'm a security and intelligence consultant, and I want to talk from that perspective.
Okay.
With the configuration of this country, as it is, if you want to have some relative peace, there is no way that any region will trust a particular region to be the custodian of the best candidate to continue to rule this country. You will not have peace. So I think we should continue our rotational presidency, but then what do they do or when they come there. And when we are talking about presidency, it's not only about the president, but the governor in the state, the local government chairman, and all the like. The reason why you cannot even remove it is because, like I said before, that is the source of resources, the source of resource allocation, the source of employment, this and so many benefits. We look at the benefits. That is driven from offices that we occupy, as against the services that we render. That is what our perspective has been. And it's difficult for you to change it today, because if you do, you have more security challenges in your internal security challenges in your hand. The important thing for us to do now is that how can we task these leaders to do the needful to the benefit of the citizenry? I think that should be our concern. And that is what I expect mass Nigerians to demand all the time from our political leaders and from those in authority at all levels. That is my, because there is no way, there is even no way. Just okay, look at the South, for instance. A particular section of the South is already feeling marginalized. So certainly, by this rotation, if it goes to the north and comes back to the south again, they would want to have a shot at the presidency for them to have a sense of belonging. I think I don't see us developing to a level of that level of nationhood in this short period for us to say, let us get the best from wherever it comes from.
All right,
we have not reached that level.
We've not gotten to that level.
Michael, can I butt in? Can I butt in?
We have to go into the conversation. Okay, but quickly, 1 minute, please.
All right, thank you very much. I really do not align with that ideology. You see, the reason for the unrest is because we are practicing rotational presidency. Listen, if every part of this country see themselves as Nigerians, there will be none of all of these things. I mean,
but
there is no presidency now. I'm coming there because we have to build it. We don't continue. We need to continue. We don't need to continue to let this fester on for a long time. We don't need to. I'm coming. There is a man who was a military head of state in this country that every part of Nigerian love. That's Murtala Muhammad. Everybody loved. Everybody wept when he was killed. There was a man that was voted president in 1993, MK Abiola. That even the people in the east and north and west, they voted for him. We can do this. We don't need to begin to look at. We don't need to begin to allow because of unrest here. There is a reason for the unrest. It's a fundamental problem, and if you don't tackle that fundamental problem, this insecurity. When Nigerians begin to see themselves as Nigerian, and there will be no Easterner, there will be no Northerner, there will be no Westerner. So where do you consider Akwa Ibom people from?
All right.
Would they also seek a shot at the presidency someday?
All right, Mr. Gordon, let me hold you there.
People, would they go up in arms against the Nigerian state?
Mr. Gordon, let me hold you there.
At the end of the day, the Nigerian state cannot satisfy everybody by giving them presidency.
All right, we have
presidency is not a way of empowerment. Presidency is not a way of empowerment. Giving somebody a governor, and any group a governor is not an empowerment. What is an empowerment?
Let me hold you there.
When somebody comes in,
Mr. Gordon, let me hold you there. We have a caller. We have a caller on the line. We just need to also recognize our callers. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, we're sorry we lost that call. The phone lines 0705 890 4927. I take it again. 0705 890 4927. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Peter.
Peter, from where?
Aguda.
From Aguda. Peter from Aguda, please make your comment.
Yes.
I can't hear him.
I want to start by saying that the practice we have on ground now is not in any nutshell to be taken as democracy. Because some group of people sat down and factor the what will benefit them and not what will benefit the people of the country. and that, to my own knowledge, is conglomerate criminality. And we have waited this long to realize the deep effect of it, eating deep in our society today. And to the ignorance of the indigenous is not to be taken by any reason of fake romance, whereby the benefits you today is a different thing, and tomorrow will be of a different tone. Is it not in this country that a whole president came up on a public speech to say that I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody? Second, it's shown that it's all about his own vision and thought. And the secretary of that president then said, I'm only responsible to the president and his family on the acceptance speech of office. So all these things, if it dies so soon, it becomes favorable. So if you go to get it, and you forget that it affects the whole, all of us as a one people and the nation. It's not doing us any good. Even most of the political officials, as when they go to National Assembly, they only bend to the tenet, to the doctrine given to them, whereby you spend 8 years and come out and say that you don't know the situation is as bad as that.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, so we have to stand up as people.
Hello, can you recap what you have said, please?
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Peters. He's just saying that we have to stand up as a people and, say our mind, tell the government what we want. I mean, demand from the government what we want the government to do for us. But anyway, we have to just move away from this conversation and go into the act of homosexuality in the military. We'll take a short break. When we return, yes, the show will continue. Please stay with us. Super FM 92.7.
In many regions, female children are marginalized and face educational barriers. Let us break this circle by supporting initiatives that enhance access to quality education for the girl child globally. Together, we can empower and shape a brighter future for the girl child.
This message is brought to you by 92.7 Super FM. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. 92.7 Super FM.
Alright, it's still Spotlight on Super 92.7 FM. If you case you're just tuning in, yes, we're looking at Nigeria and its rotational policy. That's presidency. I mean, that's just what the conversation we just had earlier on the show. And now, the later on of the show, we're looking at President Bola Tinubu as a put a ban on homosexuality. Nigeria's military personnel are now expressly prohibited from engaging in homosexuality, lesbianism, bestiality, cross-dressing, and other acts deemed contrary to the ethics of the armed forces. Well, the personnel are equally barred from body piercing, tattooing, disorderly behavior, and drunkenness on or off duty. This directive is contained in Section 26 of the revised Harmonized Armed Forces Terms and Conditions of Service signed by President Bola Tinubu. Well, in all of this, the engagement of officers of lesbians, gay, bisexual, transgender, or trans, amongst others. The condition of service also forbids the involvement of officers in amorous relationships with subordinates or their spouses. Taking a look at this, we have a retired assistant director, internal security, SSS, a member of the American Society of Industrial Security International. We also have here editor-in-chief of the industry newspaper and also a public affair analyst. We have Mr. Gaudia Fosa. Earlier also we have the Adams Habo. Gentlemen, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let's start with retired director internal security Abu. This is worrisome coming from the fact that we see this in movies. We had these, abroad where you have, military overseas engaging this kind of act. But some Nigerians wouldn't know that we have things like this, going on in our dear country. Why do you think is the reason behind all of this in the military?
Thank you very much. I think the government decided to formally make it a law that whoever among any of the forces, dares engage in it, there is a penalty for it. But I do not want to believe that it was, it is something that has been openly or whatever practiced in any of the services even before now. But I think it will give the civilians.
Remember, they say there is no smoke without fire. I mean, that's like an adage. So
I'm coming to it. I'm coming to it. The most important thing is that whoever wants to come into the military now knows that if you are already in that category outside, because there are plenty of them outside, even when it's against the law, and you want to join any of the services, you know that you no longer have any chance, to join, because first and foremost, during the background check, what we call vetting, when they discover that you are practicing that, you will not be recruited. Of course, you will be physically examined. You look at they look at your body. If you have tattoo, you will not be part of it. And if there is anyone that has tattoo now and is still in the service, if he has a way of removing them, if not, he should go and write for resignation and so on. But you see, what gives reason to some of these practices, I want to believe, is that that servicemen leave their families for a long time, and they are in the war front, they are in the bush and things like that. Some may be tempted, that kind of thing. So giving it this, making this law makes everybody to know that if you dare try it, your job is gone. And not only your job is gone, there's also other penalties. You might even be prosecuted.
So are you saying right now we don't have history of this act in the military?
I don't have a published one. But it is possible that there is.
You are denying the fact that it exists in the military.
Hello?
I said, you are denying the fact that these things exist in the military.
I'm denying that it exists in the military officially. I'm denying that. But like I said, there's no organization that you don't have bad elements among them. So it is possible. And that is what they must have sensed and have decided to make it, to make this law. In the first place, look at, even there are some parts of that law, like you talk about amorous relationship with the junior. It has always been there in all the services. You can't be an officer and you come and marry another rank. It is not allowed. And of course, you are not expected to intimidate the junior ones because you have amorous interests and things like that. It has always been there. And officers have been punished for it over the years. It is not only in the military, but in all the other security agencies. It is there. So the only thing is that they are giving emphasis, particularly for those that are coming in, know what you are coming to meet. Know that if you are doing these things outside, you can't do it when you come into the service. That is what it means.
Okay,
and,
let me go to
like you said. Let me also add that it is also, all these practices is against our own culture and it's against the law of the land. So emphasis is being made because don't forget that our servicemen, they travel abroad, they go for international peace operations and meet other servicemen from other countries in whose country this is not against their own law. I think you understand.
I get you. Okay, let's move because of our time. Let's quickly move.
You are now being made to understand that even though those people you are working with are practicing it there, you cannot do it because if you do it, you will be punished. So that you don't carry the influence of those you are meeting and those international operations and bring it and practice it there and possibly import it into the service when you return home. These are some of the reasons.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Godier Foss, are you there? Hello. Hello, Mr. Godi. Can you hear me, please? Okay, I think we lost connection with Mr. Godi there. Okay, Mr. Adams, let's still go ahead with the conversation. But how does this continued ban on homosexuality in the military, align with Nigeria's broader legal and cultural stance on same-sex relationship?
Yes, like I said before, lesbianism or gay or whatever you call it is against the law of this country. It is also against the culture and tradition of the people of this country. So, if foreign influences are beginning to bring some practices, it's just like when you go to the social media. I mean, you see it everywhere. Social media these days, I think if you want to have a great followership, the thing you do is begin to publish porn, begin to publish, sexual immoralities and all the like. That is what will give you great followership. Nobody thinks about your profession. You want to be publishing lectures about security and so on. You will not even get up to 10 likes. So those things have brought great negative influence to our society. And we must have to protect our some institutions. I mean, by way of real laws. I think that's what the president has done. And it's in good, particularly for the young men, like I said before, who are outside there that want to join the service. Let them not think that they will come there and have a field day as they do outside. They can hide outside to do it without being caught. But you can't hide while you're in the service without being caught. And the penalty is much. So I want to say that even in our general life, government should begin to, I think, various institutions that are responsible for the arrest and prosecution of people that practice it should be intensified to discourage others and let them see that we are serious. Because these days it has become so rampant among the youths. It has become so rampant. In fact, if you try to even correct them, they say, I am now of age, I'm above 18, and I can do whatever pleases me. And so that must not be allowed to get into our forces. I think that is the essence of what the president has done. That is in the best interest of this country.
All right, a beautiful one there coming from a retired assistant director, internal security, SSS, and also a member of the American Society of Industrial Security International. Adams Habo. It's been a wonderful time talking to you on all of this conversation. Thank you very much for your time on the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you.
We just hope that the new recruit and those even in the system, this signing of the ban will maybe shake up the system and maybe they'll sit right.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Adam Habo.
All right. It's my pleasure.
All right, Lagos, Nigeria. It's a wonderful time joining us on this conversation on Spotlight on Super 92.7 FM. Join us again, the same time from 7:30 on the pages down to 8 o'clock, where we'll talk about things trending in Nigeria on Spotlight. My name is Michael Young.